All right, in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at section 8.6, which is on the cost of home ownership. So this is purchasing a house. Our goal will be to calculate mortgage payments, which are how much you pay every month for your home. So some vocabulary to get us to start. The mortgage is a long-term loan, usually 15 or 30 years, for the purpose of buying a house, and for which the property pledged as security of payment. Your down payment is the portion of the sale price that the buyer initially pays the seller. So it's how much you pay up front. There are two types of mortgages. There's a fixed rate mortgage, which charges the same monthly payment during the entire course of the loan. Or there's a variable rate, or also called adjustable rate mortgage. The payments in this case will vary from time to time depending on changes in the interest rate, which are all dependent upon the market. Sometimes with a variable rate mortgage, you can get a lower monthly payment to start out, but because the rate will fluctuate, sometimes your payment will go up. So you just have to make sure that you have enough money in savings to cover if the payment should increase. Points. Points are a one-time charge that is equal to 1% of the loan amount. So if we charge 1 point, it's 1%. If we charged 3 points, it would be 3% of the loan amount. This is paid when the mortgage begins. Points are basically charged by the bank in exchange for a lower interest rate. So if you are charged points, you'll be paying that upfront cash in exchange to get a lower interest rate over the total 30 years of your mortgage. And our last one is an escrow account. This is an account used by the lender to pay real estate taxes and homeowner's insurance, which is part of your monthly payment. So today we're going to be given a scenario about the price of a home and some different percentages. So we'll see our percent of a down payment, how much points we're being charged, and the total amount of time we're doing this, 30 years, and our interest rate, which is a fixed rate mortgage at 8%. So our interest rate is 0.08, our time is 30. Now be careful, there's two interest rates or two rates given, 8% and 11%. 11% is used for the down payment only, which will be part A. So to find the down payment, all we have to do is take the price of the home times 11%, which would be 0.11, changed as a decimal. Go ahead and multiply those together, and we should get $22,000. So you would have to pay $22,000 up front in cash or a money order, a cashier's check, at the time of the purchase of your home. To find the amount of the mortgage, which this is also known as the amount of the loan, the amount of the loan will be how much you're actually borrowing. So if you're paying this amount up front, we just need to subtract that from the purchase price. So $200,000 minus $22,000 will get me that the amount of my mortgage is $178,000. Now it's super important to realize that after you're getting this amount, this is now your P value. This will be used in all of your subsequent calculations. So once you find this amount of mortgage, you basically want to ignore the $200,000 from then on. Don't use that number again in any of your calculations. Please make note of this on your notes. All right. Then they ask us to find the amount of 2 points. Remember, 1 point is 1%, so 2 points is 2%. So we just need to calculate 2% of the amount of our mortgage, which would be $178,000 times 0.02, changing 2% to a decimal. Multiply those together and we should get $3,560. Remember, this is just like a separate one-time fee. This does not affect any of the future calculations. We don't add it, subtract it, anything. It's just a side fee that you're paying for your interest rate. And then for part D, this is where we're going to use our new monthly payment formula, which this formula is on your note sheet as well as being on the formula sheet that you'll get for your quiz. So this is the new formula we're using. PMT equals, now our P value again is this 178,000 that we found up here. Our rate, we said, was 8%. Our T is 30. Now, they don't tell you what N is, but if you read carefully, it says find the monthly payment. So monthly means that N is going to be 12. And actually, N will be 12 for all of the mortgage calculations because you always pay a monthly mortgage payment. All right, so all we have to do is take all those highlighted numbers and plug them into the PMT formula. And then, of course, just being super careful to type everything in our calculator appropriately. So 178,000 times 0.08 divided by 12. Close our parentheses, then divide again. We'll have one parenthesis, 1 minus, then we'll put another parenthesis, 1 plus 0.08 divided by 12. Close that parenthesis, and then we will press our caret button. Again, you can use an extra set of parentheses around here if you'd like. You don't necessarily need to, but it's our negative n times t. So be careful, it does need to be a negative 12, and you'll use the negative button, not the minus. And then we'll get out and close our parentheses and hit enter. We should get 1,306.10. So every month you'd be paying $1,306.10 for your house. Now you're going to pay that every month. So that's 12 times a year for 30 years. So that's a long time that you're paying that amount. All right, now to find your interest paid over 30 years, it's similar to kind of what we had last chapter, but a little bit different in the formula. So to find the interest, you're actually going to take, and you may want to add this to your formula sheet. I don't think it's on there. So we want to write it down. You're going to take your PMT, which is your monthly payment, times 12 months, times T, which is how many years that you are going to be paying that. And then you will subtract from that your principal, which was how much the amount of the mortgage is. So we're going to take our 1306.1 times 12 times 30. That gives us how much we're actually paying for the house, even though the mortgage is only $178,000 that we owe. With interest, we're paying that amount. So if we subtract the purchase price of the home, we will get that we're paying $292,196 in interest. So unfortunately, with a mortgage, you do pay a lot in interest over the course of 30 years. Now, this is a really high interest rate, 8%. Usually, right around now, they're about 4% interest rates, so a lot lower. But still, you'll see that this number can be pretty large if the interest rate is high. All right, if you feel up to it, go ahead and try the closure on your own, pressing pause, and then you can press play when you're ready to see the answers. So press pause now if you'd like to try it on your own. All right, so in this one we have our purchase price being $195,000, a 10% down payment, 2 points, and 30 years. Our interest rate this time is 7.5. So the first thing to find the down payment is to take the purchase price times the percent of the down payment, which is 0.10. So 195,000 times 0.10 is 19,500. For part B, they'll ask us to find the amount of the mortgage. We just need to subtract the down payment from the purchase price. So we'll take 195,000 minus 19,500. We'll get 175,500. Remember, this is your P value. So you basically want to go get rid of that 195,000. This is going to get used in all the calculations underneath it. We never use that number ever again. So 2 points, again, is 2 percentages. So we need to multiply this number by 2%, which is 0.02. And we should get 3,510. And then in part D, we are going to be using our PMT formula from the last slide. So let me just copy that on over. So our PMT formula right here. Remember our P value is right here. Our R value, be careful. The R value is 0.075. N is 12 and T is 30. And so again, typing that all into our calculator appropriately. Don't forget this negative 12. And we should get 1,227.12, which is our monthly payment. So again, to find out how much interest we're paying, we're going to take this monthly payment. We're going to multiply it by 12 and by 30 because that's how many times we're paying it. We're paying it every month for 12 months in a year and for 30 years. Then we have to subtract the amount of the mortgage, which was in Part B. And we should get $266,263.20.